What up, party people? This is Bobby's Cryptid Corner. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for Bobby's Cryptid Corner.
And tacos.
Tuesday.
I'll be your captain this I had breakfast tacos for dinner. Did you guys have tacos? It's Tuesday.
No,
What's in a breakfast taco?
Bacon, egg, or whatever you want, but it usually has to have egg in a tortilla, and then throw whatever you like in there.
Some breakfast meat.
Love.
Yeah, some guac.
I can't believe how many people don't embrace a breakfast taco.
Yeah, I didn't really.
A little bit of
breakfast questions about it.
chorizo.
I'm in too.
You can do chorizo, you can do sausage, you can do veggie style. I like a little avocado in there. Taco Tuesday.
I asked him earlier if he used a pancake for the taco instead of like a taco shell.
No, this isn't Jack in the Box.
That's fun.
I don't know. I feel like that's like a breakfast tortilla.
It's an interesting idea. How do we feel about the hey, Kari, let me ask you this. Does the McDonald's in the UK have the McGriddle? Are y'all embraced the McGriddle yet?
No, our breakfasts are just the McMuffin, like breakfast muffin, not the biscuit. We don't get the biscuit.
Right.
With, like,
you get the
ham
English
and
muffin.
the egg.
Yeah, it's like sausage, egg, or bacon and egg, or sausage and bacon.
What do you call a regular muffin in the UK? Just like a blueberry muffin. What is that called?
A muffin.
Well, what do you call an English muffin then?
A breakfast muffin.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
I
I'll
have
fuck
a
up
little.
some breakfast muffins.
I have a little fun
pretty
exercise
good.
for us before we start the episode today. MIT came out with a 3-question IQ test. And if you can get all 3 of these right, you are smarter than 80% of the population. And so I'm very interested to see your guys's reaction to this one. So let's see if anyone can get these. So there's a bat and a baseball, and the 2 items together are $1.10. The bat is $1 more than the baseball. How much is the baseball?
20 cents.
5 cents.
Wait, the total is $1.10?
Mm-hmm.
And the bat would cost how much more than the baseball?
Well, I'll say it again. So it's $1.10, the 2 items. The bat is $1 more than the baseball. How much is the baseball?
10
So you
cents.
said it differently. Okay. It's $1 more than the. And how much is the?
90 cents.
No.
Wait, say this from the beginning. Because you said
Wait.
said that the bat is $1 and the ball is 10 cents. That's what you first said.
No, she
That's
said the
not what I
bat is
said ever.
$1 more than the baseball.
Than the baseball. How much is the baseball?
I'm terrible at maths, and I got this in like 3 seconds.
Yeah. So Kari got it right.
Okay, start from the beginning.
Okay.
The baseball's 10 cents. The
No.
bat's $1.
No.
No. The baseball is
The baseball is
5 cents.
free.
The baseball's 5 cents, and the bat is $1.05 because the bat is
that
$1
makes sense.
more than the baseball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I had some, is it a timed thing? If I sat down,
No.
and
And here's
thought
the thing. It's what Kari was talking about. It's not about math, really. At the end of the day, it's about how
Logic.
you interpret. Yeah, it's about how you interpret the thing. So it's not about somebody's math skills. At the end of the day, it's just that people only hear certain parts of what people are saying, and then they try to mush it together to come up with an answer.
I swear you said that the bat was $1.
That's
and
like a,
the ball was 10 cents. So it was like, okay,
But
it's
that's what you
20 cents.
heard. But that's what you heard, and that's the thing about it. Okay, so you guys ready for the
Oh
next
my
one?
god!
I had to take a
feel like
test
it's
like
a
this
little bit
literally
easier.
last week.
So there's 5 fidget making machines, and they can make 5 fidgets in 5 minutes. So how long would it take 100 fidget machines to make 100 fidgets?
100 minutes.
Say that again. 5 in 5 minutes.
There's
write this down.
5 machines that in 5 minutes can make 5 fidgets. So if
I know.
they had 100 machines,
Takes 5 minutes.
how long would it take
500
them?
minutes.
How long would it take them to make 100?
500 minutes.
100 machines. How long would it take them to make 100? If they're doing 5 a minute,
500 minutes.
5
No,
in 5 minutes.
so that
It'd
would
be 5 minutes,
500 in
because
1 minute.
they can
So
make
each
each
one is
machine.
It's
Each
5
machine can
minutes.
make one every 5 minutes. So if you had 100 machines, it would only take 5 minutes.
Did I say 5 first? I feel like I
Is
first
there a
said
third one?
No.
Can we get the
Wait.
third question over with?
Okay, yeah, we'll do one more. This is the last one. Okay, there is a pond with a section of lilies on it, and every single day the lilies multiply they exactly double the amount. So in 80 or 48 days, the entire pond is covered. So how many days would it have taken for half the pond to be covered?
I gotta know the size of the pond.
No, you don't.
How many days?
It's logarithmic.
48 for the entire thing to be covered.
Can I answer?
Can we say it one more time?
Yeah, I'll say it one more time for you. So there's a group of lilies on a pond, and every day that group of lilies, the amount doubles. So it took 48 days for the entire lake to be covered in lily, or in these lily pads. So how many days would it have taken for it to only be halfway?
24?
No.
Oh shit.
It's exponents, not okay.
47, because they double every day.
Fuck this game.
It still doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, it does. It makes
does.
perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Stop trying to trick me.
Jamie, you only know that because you know the answer. That's not fair. It doesn't make perfect sense.
We've
To
got
be
two
fair,
Tonys.
I'm not trying to brag, but I was pretty decent at answering them when
We
they
don't
came
know
up.
this.
This
I
isn't
always
your
don't think
fucking
about it.
There's no evidence. to say
Jamie's
that
smart
that.
cryptid corner hour. Okay.
Yeah, see, everyone else got 47. They knew.
You know what? I came
Sorry,
here
I
to talk about.
I thought it would be funny to see everyone's reactions, and I
Well,
wanted
you were
to see
wrong.
how everyone
Now
thought.
I'm just angry.
She didn't say how many days it was.
I did.
I'm gonna take a drink every time I get a math problem wrong.
There you go.
Okay.
Is that why accountants drink all the time?
Probably.
Who
in all
wants to
Yeah.
call
honesty.
out the chat?
Yeah,
Aw.
who wants to? You want to give a shout out, Bibby, to the chat for everyone who's here?
What happened to Tony?
Sure.
Yes, of course.
Early arrivers shout outs. God, we got a lot better turnout this time than last week.
3.
Thank God Renee's here. Renee Cruz, Enzo,
Hey.
of course.
No one has good
Hides
internet.
and Longgrass is an early arriver. Philip Blair, Consquatch. My flock is, I haven't seen my flock is everywhere in a while.
No, me either. Hey, Sarah.
Philip Blair, did I already say that?
Sarah, where you
Yes.
at?
Brad T. Philip Blair is here.
Oh, Brad T. It sounds like Brad T.
Eric Mayer says, fuck math with a PH. I like the self-censorship there. Vanessa's here. And did I say Eric Mayer?
You did.
Strange Recon Radio just got here.
Oh,
Hell
hey,
yeah.
Jeff. That's coming up Thursday.
All right.
Yes.
We got this is the way I like it. Not too small, but not insane. I like it. It's strong but mighty.
That's what she said.
Hey.
Anyway, yeah, this is Bobby's Cryptid Corner. Tonight we're going to be talking about, we're going to get back to the basics here, right? We haven't done just like a straight up local lore fucking Bigfoot creature in a while.
Yeah.
And this is my wheelhouse here. So they said, hey, it's your turn to pick a cryptid. I said, we haven't done a Bigfoot creature in a while. Let's do the wood booger, which is
a booger of the woods.
Term comes from Southwest Virginia, right? We're going to get into all of that. My name is Bobby. Right below me, we have the goat. Introduce yourself, please, Bree.
My name is Bree. I am Goatwood today.
I like
and
to
below Goatwood. We have,
jelly hat you.
Not the horny one, just goat.
no one was thinking of horniness until you said that.
Right. We also have Tony,
Now
who
I
seems to be
am.
having connection issues down in the corner. It seems like he's working on it, though.
He's just very
I'll take him out for now until he
still.
figures himself out.
And then we have Kari down here at the bottom, and then we have me, Reptar.
Hi, I'm display name.
Enzo, hold that thought because we're going to get into all the confusing locale terminology with this one in just a moment. It's going to be super compelling. Tony's back. All right. So any other fucking SAT questions, or can we talk about Bigfoot?
No, we can get into it, you guys.
Sylvain just got here.
Give us the next one, B. As with any great cryptid, we have a cryptid beer of the week. This is the Wood Booger, Strange Ways Brewing in Virginia, USA. It's a Belgian dark ale, 6% alcohol by volume. And I'm going to read what's on the box to you guys because I think it's great. It's no hoax. You've spotted the elusive Wood Booger. However, your adventure is only now beginning. Examine its habits and you'll uncover footprints of caramel, chocolate, and roasted malts, and subtle traces of dark chocolate and fruit esters. It will show you a sweet side, tempting you in to let down your guard, but you must keep your wits about you, because as quickly as it reveals itself, it will vanish. Dark, roasty brown ale brewed with coconut sugar and dark Belgian candy sugar, fermented with Belgian ale yeast, and aged with bourbon vanilla beans.
Jamie, have you ever done ASMR work? Because
no, but I should. Good. Except I can't say the word ale.
I just want you to read the back of microbrews. Now I got a question about this next slide here. I didn't set
question alert. Do or do not approach.
Why didn't you put high alert or do not approach?
Oh fuck, that's my bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I had this originally set to medium, a medium. See, I thought, well, here's what. Let me show everyone a peek behind the curtain because I wanted to bring this up. I started working on the slideshow yesterday, and that wasn't good enough. So you guys created a new one, I guess. So that's why this happened. I had it completely planned out perfectly. I had it set at medium.
What fucking slideshow was that?
I really maybe it wasn't shared publicly or something. No, it's literally it's on the thing. I can show it to you. But anyway, I started a slideshow last night, but you guys created a new one today. That's fine. We'll talk about that off the air. Whatever. I'm not a catty bitch, but I'm not gonna like one right now. It was really good too. I want to point that out. Okay. So I have this set to a medium. Bigfoot. This is a typical Bigfoot type. The southern Bigfoot's not southern in the traditional like Civil War southern, but like the deep south, like the Louisiana ones. Those are generally a little more aggressive, but these seem to have a relatively docile nature to them. Is that do we all kind of have that consensus from our research?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like if you are approaching it and being aggressive and annoying, that it's probably going to annoy you, but for the most part it's trying to hide itself.
Yeah. So I would go ahead and set this to like a medium high, like with any typical wild animal, but generally when you're not provoking something like this, it's not going, it just doesn't want to be seen. I'm not going to say it's more scared of you than you are of it, but it's not interested in attacking you, generally speaking. So this chart is wrong, and normally I would blame myself, but not this time, ladies. Not this time.
You know what? I would say that it's actually pretty questionable. I like it.
That's
kind
what
of
I was
on the high
for.
side, and it's like, is it enough?
We got to hash this one out.
It depends on who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony, were you going to say something, or are we just agreeing here?
No, I'm going to say now, after I have made the 1,200-mile trip to my destination, I got to travel through the Ozarks. So I was going through the Ozarks, and I was remembering the last Bobby's Cryptid Corner that I was on, because we did the Ozark Howler. And then I drove through Hopkinsville, and I was like, oh the goblins. So once again, traveling across the country by vehicle, I have been through like a lot of the things that we have talked about this year. And then now I found out when I came here that because I'm in South Carolina and I'm in the Appalachia, the Wood Booger, there are people that have Bigfoot, like the steel cutouts, the shadow cutouts of Bigfoot, like everywhere out here. It's really big out here. And it's our this week's Cryptid. It's kind of been something that I've seen a lot over the last couple days.
Synchronicity. Good job.
This is a pretty typical Bigfoot-like creature. Nothing stands out really with the stats here. 6 to 12 feet tall. There wasn't a lot of physical description out there. However, we're just going to go with kind of the typical Bigfoot descriptions because that's what I'm seeing most of. Keep in mind, too, the ones in the Northwest are generally much bigger and broader in description. I think 12 feet tall might be a little bit of a stretch for this one. I can't confirm one way or the other if anyone's witnessed a 12-foot tall one. They're fucking big, though. They're big. They're big animals, right? Covered in long matted hair, usually black, brown, or auburn colored, human-like face. Now, I put no muzzle in here for one person only. That man's name is Tony, the game warden.
Yes.
There is no muzzle on this creature, which means it is not a dog man, and it is also not a bear or a dog or another creature or a cow. Any creature with a muzzle.
Take out the canines. It's a canine.
So it's a giant hair-covered humanoid. Known as the local vernacular is the wood booger. I don't want to say that they call it that everywhere in this region, but it's kind of a catch-all term. I think it originates in Norton, Virginia, which we will talk about in just a moment, which was just a derivative of the boogeyman, or also known as today, based on a footage we will look at in a second, the Beast of Gum Hill. Does anyone have any new nicknames for the wood booger?
Boogie Woogie Night Night, Scary Hairy Boogeyman.
Oh yeah! Now I'm getting excited.
And Wet Nipple Forest Boy.
Wet Nipple Forest Boy is the official title. New title of
Those are mine. Anyone else?
I don't want to hear anyone else's.
Okay.
Wet Nipple Forest Boy wins.
It was questionable at first, and then you redeemed yourself with Wet Nipple Forest Boy.
I had to keep talking until I had one good one.
And you did. You found it.
You found it.
It took me a while, but I got there.
Let's talk about the location. I've already alluded to it several times, but we're specifically talking about more or less the Appalachian Trail region of Bigfoot phenomenon. Specifically, again, the wood booger terminology comes from southwestern Virginia, Norton, Virginia. Really has embraced it quite a bit. I want to say that statue that you saw on the first slide, and you can kind of see it in the bottom left there. I don't know for sure, but I think that statue is that's the original one.
Well, we'll talk about it. Don't worry, we'll go into it.
They have one in Jefferson, Texas that I've seen, and it looks exactly like it. And then you can buy that in like a Sharper Image or a Sky Mall for your own garden. Yeah, it's a very famous sculpture.
Oh yeah. I know that. I know that site that you can buy that from.
Yeah, Sky Mall.
I would love to have a house with a gate, and at the two front, instead of they usually have some ancient artifact, you just have one of those big beasts right before the gates enter.
It just occurred to me that Tony's not far from Norton, Virginia now.
No, he's not.
Tony, are you broadcasting from Norton, Virginia right now?
No, I'm about
just lie.
At the map. I'm about 400 miles away. I'm not that far away. I'm within the territorial range of the wood booger.
Yeah. You're definitely in Sasquatch country, Eastern Appalachian Sasquatch country. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of these are sightings. I mean, you have sightings all up and down the Appalachian Trail, but we're talking specifically about Central Appalachia, Southwest Virginia, Northeast West Virginia. See what I did there, Enzo? I put a W for West Virginia. So we're talking about Southwest state of Virginia, Northeast state of West Virginia, and of course Eastern Kentucky, where you got your Mammoth Cave system, and you got your Hopkinsville Goblins, and you got your what was that awesome about all that stuff.
You also had the moon-eyed people of the Appalachian Mountains that the the Navajo wiped out. That's also in there.
What?
All right.
What the hell?
Well, it sounds like you're volunteering a Moon-Eyed People episode in the near future.
Ooh, that's on our list. I feel like the Moon-Eyed People.
I think it is anyway somewhere.
I think it is, yeah.
Next.
But let's kick it back to Bree because she is the one that loves the natives.
I really do.
The filthy Western whites that murdered them all.
I really do.
That's why this is her specialty.
This was actually a really exciting episode for me because I spent quite a lot of time going down a lot of rabbit holes that doesn't even have to do with bringing anything related to this cryptid, but just I think I've realized that petroglyphs is a big
deal
interest of mine. I've noticed that I get very excited to learn about different sites and about what's recorded and where it's recorded and what it is. And so I kind of went a little too deep on this and when it had really not a lot to do with our cryptid.
I'm fucking stoked.
But the native lore here, you can see that it is a giant chunk of land that we have here. It stretches across multiple states. And this is like majority of just the mountain range. But you have to consider that like with most cryptids, you're not just focusing on the exact location, but just the spreading area. So we're looking at the overall Appalachian territory, and it is the largest cave art location that's even been recorded just in North America in general, in Alabama, which is in our little Appalachian Trail, and unfortunately also the main home of the Trail of Tears. Very sad. But it was home to 22 native nations. We have, a lot of indigenous people here, but it is the Cherokee Nation that is majority, as it is with just any Native American tribe in general. The Cherokee kind of trumps anything else. And they pass down tons and tons of different mountain folklore and superstitions alike. It's craziness. And they did indeed. The first one I would say has to do with the mountain men. This is just a mythical creature that had hair all over his body and lived like a beast, which we consider kind of like a Bigfoot. The wild man has also been recorded very early in 2nd century BC and was continuously passed down in Native American lore. So, this goes far back as like 16th century, that it was between 16th and 18th century that our settlers came in and then started to actually write these things down. So before it was just an oral tradition that's constantly passed down. You have to be a part of the tribe. Your ancestors would inform you of this, and you just continue on. And then because of the Trail of Tears, you see like a breaking off, and especially with the European settlers, there's certain parts that are kind of branched off into that and what information we hold on to today. So this little, if you just look at this picture in general, the wild man of the woods, of course, it's not just here in the Appalachians. It was everywhere, honestly. And this creature in general looks like what our Bigfoot overall icon is. That can be taken as what we think of as actually a beast, a primate, or that could also be intermixed with maybe a feral person. So when we talk about like a man of the woods, I think we have to think of both.
I think those were more common back then than they are now.
Right, because you think about like our common day homeless person. Doesn't.
Yes.
It looks a little bit like us, but like back then, I think if there was an actual homeless person that didn't have a home, a tribe, a family, a hut, imagine what that would look like.
It would look like a Bigfoot, as far as I'm concerned.
It would look like a Bigfoot. So we have to take both things into consideration, that this could actually be a legitimate unknown primate as well as our brother.
In all seriousness, though, like, let's say you do have a feral human out there, and that's where some of this lore comes from. And when I say feral, I just mean, like ousted homeless person, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, just think about, like, hygiene for, like, not homeless people was not particularly fantastic back then.
And it's still,
now apply that to a feral, like, hermit man living in the woods. They're not going to shave. They're going to be described as hairy. They're going to have long, beautiful hair, flowing locks. They're probably going to be shirtless. I feel like a man with a shaved chest was probably quite uncommon back then to begin with.
Yeah, so it was probably like a very hairy, manly chest with hairy arms, and so they interpreted it as, I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's something to that. I think that there were wild men back then that were just humans living in the woods, because people knew how to, like, innately knew how to live off the land back then anyway. Now, think about if, like, nobody liked you, but you still had those skills. Right. You're going to just
can I point something out?
I'm going to look like a dirty hippie in the woods.
So in this picture, if you look at the feet,
opposable thumbs.
Look at them toes.
Them toes, though.
They look like ape toes.
Them gorilla toes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's why they're shaped like this instead of like our feet are, like, like.
My toes do look like that, though.
Wow. Your toes come off your ankle?
That's because you're part Neanderthal, brain.
I got a hammer toe.
No, I think, and I was trying to
one DNA wise to a Bigfoot.
I do actually have a higher scent of Neanderthal, believe it or not.
I know exactly.
Yeah, that's why Bree's 4'8".
Exactly.
Oh,
what the fuck, Tony?
Bree, you're not 4'8".
No, I'm not. You met me.
She's like 4'9".
You're
I'm
like
4
5'8".
foot right.
Sorry.
I'm 4 foot right. The right. No, I'm not even. I'm 5 foot right. Okay, I'm not even 4 feet, you guys. I'm above that.
She's not 5'5".
You should die. Anyway, I'm just trying to point out that the wild men, these stories that they had, could be legitimately a primate that we don't know, such as a Bigfoot-like creature, or it could really be a homeless person. So we have to consider both sides of that. Okay.
100%.
Hey, homeless person of the gap theory, bear of the gap theory, god of the gap theory.
Jesus,
but I like homeless person of the gap theory.
I do like that. A homeless person of the gap theory. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's start with Sulkalu. Okay, this translates to a slant-eyed giant or a sloped giant.
This sounds very racist already.
A little bit, yeah.
For multiple reasons.
He was
this is so out of character.
He was known to be at least 7. No.
It was very warranted.
It's not like that. It's sloped as in, like, when you're so tiny, look at him.
Are we gonna measure skull sizes later, Bree?
Listen,
you
right,
fucking racist.
Brain capacity.
Sloped, also,
let me tell you about the bell curve.
This is a sloped giant.
Okay, I like the visuals. Thank you.
That's a slumped giant.
A slumped, yeah. Maybe
yeah,
slumped.
this is a slant-eyed.
Do you guys
giant.
not know that we're going back to around the 18th century?
What are you, my uncle from Vietnam? Like, fought in Vietnam right now?
And I ran into a 7-foot tall.
Let me tell you about the last chopper in Saigon.
Giant. Oh my God, no.
Anyway, okay.
They had big ones too.
This guy, okay, so Sulkalu was known to be at least 7 feet tall. He was covered in hair, full face, body, everything. Had 7 fingers and 7 toes. And those 7 fingers and toes had very sharp claws. And then he was also known as the Judicula. This is a botched name from European settlers who didn't understand Sukulu. So,
of course it is.
Like most things that we know,
Were they German by chance?
They were Irish and German. Scottish and German. So, as we know with most things, there's like a main name, and then there's all these different like subsidiary names.
There's all these anti-Semitic versions of it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's not Jew-Kalua. It's Judah-Kalua. Judah-Kalua.
It's
Jew-Kalua.
It's Judacula.
It's Judacula.
Let's keep going. Let's move on.
All right.
Judacula. Okay, Judacula.
I want to suck your blood.
Blood. So Judicula was his botched name, and he was known as the Cherokee Devil. And also in the Cherokee legend, he was the great lord of the game, so the hunt. He was known as this great hunter of the forest.
Now, Bree, I have a question. Are the Cherokee known for this region that we're talking about, or are we just going?
Yes, like I said in our past slide, the Cherokee was the majority of the native tribes in that area.
Pay attention, Bobby. God.
I'm sorry.
Cherokee was the main tribe, not just in the Appalachian Mountains, but also in general. They were the main Native American nation in all native tribes, all throughout our homeland.
Cherokee.
How do you think that happened?
White people.
Imperialism.
It always boils down.
Because they banded as one. So anyway, being this great hunter, the great person of the forest, the Cherokee believed that he had some sort of magic ability, that he could have the power to become invisible, to not be seen by anyone, and that stemmed from his root of not trusting people. That at some point way back in native land, there was some sort of deal that was broken between him and the surrounding tribes, and therefore making himself become unseeable to people. And I think that this is also a great explanation for why we think that, Bigfoot, this type of being in general, can be around but also be so elusive, and there's no way of finding him or tracking him. And this is kind of like the native explanation, is that at some point he had a deal and these tribes broke his trust. So therefore he decided to use his invisibility magic, his gift.
Which Bigfoots do have, by the way.
Yeah, I do.
To not be seen by these people. So they lost his trust. There you go. Now you can't see him anymore.
So he had the ability to go invisible before this deal went through?
Correct. He had lots of magical abilities in general.
Okay.
So now this is kind of like the physical part. I'm calling it like the remnants of this lore. Sukulu. This is different because this is Sukalui. I'm botching that, but it literally translates to where the footprint is.
Where the red fern grows.
The fox and the hound.
Where the footprint is. This is on 100. Sukalui is on 100-acre patch on the sloped mountain of the Tennessee Bald in Jackson Country, North Carolina. And it's believed that Sukulu lived in that area, and he was responsible for clearing out the entire slope so he could live there. So it's currently just kind of vacant of plant life. And so, because again, the European settlers ruined his name, it's also known as the Judicula Old Fields. Judicula. And about 100, let's see, 100, I think it's only like a mile and a half, actually. Below is the Tanasi Bald, and then it is the Judicula Rock. This rock in particular is very, very special. It is because of this big giant. They believed that he was living on that slope because he cleared it out to be his home, and he jumped from the slope to the river and put his hand on this rock and leaped away. Obviously, that's not the case. They're just petroglyphs. But the petroglyphs do show that there is a 7-fingered handprint on these petroglyphs.
Right there, right?
What?
That's
Bottom
the
left.
bottom right of the image, the big one.
Yeah, and I'll show you a closer picture.
Yeah.
But
Extra digits is like a common motif with
inbred,
non-human humanoids and inbred people.
no, yeah, because they
in Virginia.
Mostly
they
West
thought-
Virginia.
the Cherokees thought that
That's Georgia.
The Cherokee thought of him as having this superhuman strength that was capable of flying and being able to transport between mountaintop to mountaintop, and being able to control the wind, the rain, and thunder like they do with a lot of things, including lightning. And that he was able to usher people in from our current world into the spirit world. And so this rock in general, it looks very small, but it is not, which is why I put this other picture here, which is like very old, this picture. Because this one on the left looks very small, but the one on the right, you can see compared to this very old man, that it's actually quite big. It is 240 square feet of soapstone, and it contains more petroglyphs on any boulder that's been found on the eastern part of the United States.
Wow.
The petroglyphs were carved between 500 AD, making them about 1,500 years old. And it's still a mystery. They still don't know what exactly is going on. But of course, like modern scientists, they're like, oh, well, it must just mean what's going on in the world. But they're sort of surmising their conclusion opposed to looking at what's going on, because there's so many layers to what's going on. It kind of looks like a clusterfuck. So you can kind of see. But the location was and still does remain a sacred site to the Cherokee. And it was believed that this was actually just one part of a very grand location of other rocks, other soapstone boulders that all connected into one. But because of just erosion, overgrowing, people fucking shit up, of course, that you only see this one stone right now. That it was other stones have been moved. So who knows? This could have been a Native American fucking Stonehenge. We have no idea, but it appears as though that was the case.
Now, Bree, I think you're actually taller than the old man in that photograph.
Not by much.
I fucking hope so.
So this rock is actually only 107 miles away from where I'm at right now. So it's not even.
Serious?
If you're not there, don't bring it up, Tony.
It's only
Right.
100 miles. It's not
So
that
So
far.
you should go there.
Yeah, that's what I should do.
They got
You
Wi-Fi
should go
out
there because
That rock is the best Wi-Fi.
Go there and meditate.
Because it's cool to like just know this, but what I have learned is that this rock in particular is now a very strange and paranormal site.
Of course.
It's not too far from a cemetery, and there have been ghostly apparitions and EVPs recorded all throughout its time there. Ghost hunters frequently visit the area. There are spook lights. There's
What's the ley line action of all this? I
didn't even fucking look it up. I should have done that. That's the one thing I did not do.
Always
there have been
lines.
Many UFO sightings. It's a common UFO spot.
Sounds like
very common.
Maybe that's why there's a giant lion on that rock there.
There's also speculation that it has drawn a lot of occult practitioners there to that area to continue rituals that maybe the Cherokee would have done, but of course taken into a little bit of a different rate. And there's also been people that speculate that it could be a part of a secret society that also goes there and does rituals there. And also that the rock, not just itself, but the surrounding area of the rock does register a very strange electromagnetic frequency from it. Like cell phones not working, cameras dying, people just picking up strange frequencies and interference in that area close to the rock. So the rock in general is, at least for people that are interested in the paranormal, the Native American history behind it is kind of fallen apart. It's kind of like in the back, opposed to just this rock being very strange and paranormal in general.
Because of the whites.
So this is a part of the petroglyph that's on the rock that shows the 7-fingered being.
There's 76.
There's like one little nub on the end.
Oh.
And that is like in the picture. The thummy dude.
Oh, yeah, the opposable thumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. To me, it kind of looks like a squid.
Yeah, it looks like a haptopod.
Yeah, it looks like a blupo.
To be fair, I think it's only because of the perspective I'm looking at it. I think maybe if it was flipped the other way, I'd look at it more like a hand. But the way I'm looking at it this way, it looks like a squid. I'm not.
You got like kind of a paisley pattern in the upper right there.
Oh, you're right, actually.
It's
I'm
more
wear that in my back
interesting
pocket.
to me to know that there was this site where the Cherokee kind of acquainted their master of the hunt, someone they would also integrate into their rituals, the rites before you would hunt, which is also like a great, because like the hunt in general, especially in that time, would have been very high up on your kind of like a god scale, right? Because they need to come back with food in order to survive.
Right.
And this was the keeper of the forest. There was a line by that stone, and a lot of people surmise that maybe that was the line in which these hunters, the Cherokee, the hunters, could not pass. And if they pass that, they're kind of passing the line between where Sukalu lived. Like, it's all fun and games, we worship you, but you don't cross Papa's headquarters. So a lot of people kind of like take this stone as really like a marker of don't fucking cross the path.
You want to know what's crazy about all this? Where this location is? It's
like
not that
4,000 miles from you.
No. It's actually not that far from the Browns Mountain Lights.
Yeah, and
it's in the same area as the Browns.
The Appalachian Mountains in general. That's so funny because almost a month ago, my sister Nicole wanted to do an episode with you guys about the Appalachian Mountains, and so she was like looking up things, and I couldn't really find anything like in general to look at. So we set it aside, and then this came up, and then of course, as I'm researching, all these other things came up. And so I would love to go into the Appalachians with you guys, and not
for sure.
obviously Nicole does, because she was like, the Appalachians are crazy, they're nuts, like all these things happen. But yeah, the brown lights, for sure, the brown mountain lights are a big deal. And it seems like everything is very connected, as most things are. I mean, the Appalachian Mountain Ridge in general that we're looking at is, of course, as you would suspect, a very large area for the missing 411
yep.
folks. So this is a major ridge where they're looking at very strange phenomena of missing people, missing hunters, people just vanishing, portals seeming to appear and then vanish and then just reappear and drop people out of thin air. There's a lot of strange activities in these Appalachian Mountains in general, and not to mention the fact that they're almost the oldest. They're part of the oldest mountain ridges that we do have on the Northern American continent. So you have to kind of play that into perspective as well. If it's around, 500 million years, you can only imagine the type of energy, turmoil, and things that it has seen, whether there have been extraterrestrial visitors, people before, a rise and fall of civilizations. I mean, there's so many things that accumulate over time. And
yeah, there was somebody who they took the historical maps with the movements of the tectonics and found like the Appalachians go all the way back to like the pre-dinosaur era. Like they go back to like pre-Cambrian history. So like, shut up.
Cambrian,
yes.
Yes.
But that's how far they go back.
Yeah, it's like 500 fucking million years.
And by the way, that's
exactly that.
They're
that's
prehistoric.
the Smoky Mountain National Forest when I was driving into it.
Ooh.
Can you zoom in?
It is prehistoric, if I will say.
You can see the FedEx truck. But this is going straight into it.
Wow. There's Bigfoot in the mountains.
Yeah. Almost crashed taking that picture.
There's wood burgers in the mountains.
You're welcome.
In this area, though, where we have this crazy paranormal rock, which we now need to visit, now that I know that it's way more than just a major site of petroglyphs that no one knows what the fuck is going on. That it is actually recognized as a UFO hotspot. Ghostly apparitions, all these things, making it an entire paranormal enigma, if you will. It's also only 1.5 miles away from a location along the Tesney River, which they consider to be the Devil's Courthouse. And that is just a giant mountain, and they believe that Sukulu lives in a cave inside of that mountain. And so people go and they visit, and it's kind of cool because in that entire area, it's not just those 3 locations, but there are many other that are kind of like sprinkled around that whole area where people have claimed to have footprints. Like in that river area, there was talk. Well, it's claimed that there were indeed footprints into the rock of Sukulu's footprint, but because of a railroad construction that it was wiped away. There's no proof of that. I've looked into that deeply, but it is believed that there are many sites around the entire area where they see footprints or handprints that has been embedded into the rock. So you just kind of have to wander around the wilderness and find it's like a fucking scavenger hunt for footprints and handprints. But it seems like a very cool area. And surprisingly, I really was surprised that it was backed by so much. That always makes me very happy when we look into a cryptid and there's so much Native American backing and lore, and then actually something that stands to this day. This is just like a sliver. There's so many things that this breaks off into. I can't even begin to tell you guys how much time I spent on this. So just the current lore in that area is, again, just the old wild men of the mountain being the lucky ones. They kept black bears away from their livestock. And overall, which is actually the same as the Cherokee, they believed that they had the ability to hear thoughts of others and to control minds of others. And all in all, everything's gravy unless you make eye contact with the woodburger. Booger.
And that's yet another common trope with the paranormal Bigfoot stuff is the mind speak.
The mind speak.
Interdimensionality.
And I think it's
high strangeness.
It's very evident that the Native American, whether it's like the Sukaloo or it's the Judicola, they're obviously talking about the same thing. And to see that parallel to what we're talking about here, I'm almost positive, and I'm sure you guys would probably agree, I don't know, that the woodburger, I keep saying burger, the woodburger,
drink.
The woodburger is our common name for something very much older than what's happening. Like, who knows, in 20 years it'd be like Sukaloo, Judicola, Woodburger, Schmackburger, Footburger. Like, you just, like, it just keeps going on. I surmise that we're talking about the same thing here.
Every time you say Sukaloo, all I picture is Sasquatch. Every time,
guys.
Giorgio Sukaloo.
Sukaloo, yeah.
Oh,
so
sorry.
That's the only thing I haven't. The only thing that doesn't really, the local folklore that doesn't really match up from this older American tradition is that if you make eye contact, you're gonna die, and if you don't, if you survive, you'll never be the same again. And that's not really like very prevalent in Native history, but I also feel like that's probably a little bit sprinkle of modern day
for sure
scarcity.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I always go ahead. I'm not going to make that joke.
Okay, we're going to get into the early history of this Appalachian area. So the big thing here that we have with a lot of the Appalachian cryptids is the storytelling that happens in this area, which is a big, huge catalyst for all of these creatures and things, which I think is a big part because I think that we lean on the idea a lot that, you know, the collective consciousness is creating these beasts. And this is one of those areas where, like, they're constantly passing down lore about the area. So the Appalachian parents of this time used to pass down stories to their kids about boogers who used to get you in the woods. And a booger was derived obviously from the boogeyman, as Bobby said before, but boogers came in all sorts of forms. They were just they were bad creatures at the time. But eventually what morphed over time is that the people in the Virginia's area started to use specifically wood booger to describe this creature that was out there. And the reason that it was is because these specific people who had generations of family, these are the stories that were told. So when you grew up, your great-great-great-great-grandma talking about the wood booger or the boogers getting you when you were younger, of course, through time, that trickles into your vocabulary of what is being used today in a completely different sense. Like, don't get me wrong, like wood boogers could definitely be Bigfoot that are out there, but at the time, it was just more creatures of the woods, per se. Yes.
Interrupting.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I forgot to mention, because it didn't fit, that the Cherokee do have a ritual, and it's they make a booger mask, and there are these masks, and their noses are like crazy long, they have these crazy like ritual dances, and it's like for the boogers, but the boogers are not associated in any way, shape, or form with the cryptid we're talking here.
No.
They're making fun of the early European settlers. So they make fun
Appalachian
of like
people were
their sexual, so they make fun of like their sexual parts, what they talk like, what they do, and they have this whole entire ceremony dance making fun of the boogers with these booger masks.
Well,
even though it has nothing
I was like, it's really funny that you say that though, because it's actually the wood booger is actually that name is actually a slur.
Yes.
Wood booger is also an individual typically referred to as a hick or a redneck or a country
there
folk,
you go.
or somebody
Exactly.
with less morals or less accepting actions or beliefs.
Yes.
So it's like
the
name of it split into these multiple things. It's like the people who were making fun of them took their name and turned it into like something against them.
Exactly, which I wasn't going to mention because I was like, it has nothing to do, and I put it in my notes.
That is our word.
Nothing to do with it, but also the current day term, reflects on that, and they do have a whole dance where they make fun of the Europeans and like all of their genitalia, and like it's fucking wild. Like
it's wild.
They really were all out and like weird cocks and just doing weird shit. But they took that name. And the booger is a
derogatory word.
It's a weird cocked white.
Yeah.
To the people that come and fuck their shit up.
So back to the 1800s, we have Josiah Cracker, which I think is such a great name, and his son came to this West Virginia
that
area.
Doesn't sound like a white person at all.
I know, literally. It's a Bible name, Josiah, and then Cracker. It's like a lot of stereotypes going on here in this one. And his son came to the area, the West Virginia area, to hunt in the 1800s, and they encountered a large, hairy, ape-like creature, and it ended up killing Josiah. And the only person to go on and tell the tale was his son, and his son described it pretty much like a Bigfoot, like a big aped-like humanoid creature that came and attacked them, and he like barely got away from it. So many stories throughout history kept getting told down, and it became to a point specifically in this West Virginia area that like the wood booger kind of became the wood booger of the gap theory. It was explaining any type of noise or scary thing happening in the woods. So it's become so much more of a broader term than just describing a Bigfoot. And so now it's kind of taking a turn as well to going to like the original name of it, where it's just describing something that's happening out there and maybe not necessarily a Bigfoot.
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, hey, it's me.
Me.
So
hi.
I was trying to look into like contemporary reports in media, and so I've split this into two. So there's early ones. So the earliest one I could find was there was a newspaper called the Old Post, who referred to a Bigfoot sighting as the wood booger, and it kind of that was one of the first kind of media uses of the term, which is very similar to boogeyman, like booger, boogie. So,
boogie, booger, white people.
So although like the Pacific Northwest is the kind of the main place for Sasquatch sightings, some historians think that the sightings in the South only started like after the Civil War.
Makes sense. Should happen to like I'm fleeing.
What they're in like debunk mode, but their theory is that it's soldiers after the war that couldn't like reintegrate back into society and went and lived in the woods like wild men. But I've got an more interesting question about it. Could it be like a subspecies of Sasquatch, kind of like you've got different tribes of natives, you've got different tribes of Sasquatch? Could it be
I think we all probably believe that that Sasquatch is probably like a human in which you have different ethnicities and break-offs, and of course where you live they give you
different breeds.
Names. They give you different names altogether, but it's most likely probably the same thing that we're talking about.
So the reason they called it wood booger was apparently because it was derived from the boogeyman, because it would take children off into the woods. It was kind of used as a story to scare kids of going into the woods and going to dangerous places. But it's interesting where
more
it goes
cautionary tales.
Yeah, this is where it starts to go from like folklore into it morphing into a media thing and it being used to ward off children and things. So next slide. So in 1976, actually before that, I should note there's really not a lot of wood booger related material between 1892 and 1976. Like, it was very, very difficult to find anything.
That's wild.
Yeah. I think most people were calling it Sasquatch, but I was trying to really narrow it down to like a wood booger case.
Well, you also have to consider it the same thing with UFO sightings. We only know what people report, not what is actually happening.
Right. This is true. So a man and his friend were out walking and collecting discarded beer cans on like an overgrown, disused road in their town, and they'd like collect the beer cans and trade them back in for money. It was something that they did in the 70s, apparently. They were shining torches to see what they were doing when they sense they're not alone, and they turn around and shine a torch, and then they see like a 7-foot tall figure, like tall with long hair, shaggy looking, and then they just after a few seconds just ran out of there. That was
in America,
the earliest
the torch is
case
called a flashlight. Just
Shush.
Flashlight.
Shush. Next slide. Oh no, with that. So these are more modern encounters. So this is Chesterfield County in 2006. So the area of the sighting has changed considerably since then, with industrial development and a sports complex being built in the area. So the road is used. It used to be known for its high numbers of roadkill, particularly deer, and witnesses recount seeing 40 to 50 deer kills in this section in his time driving down the road.
That's only normal if there's going to be an earthquake.
Oh.
So they're scared. There's probably a being scaring them.
Maybe. This night he had his bright lights on, and he was traveling about 25 miles an hour because he didn't want to hit a deer because he knows how many get hit there. He saw something out the corner of his eye and didn't think anything of it. So thought it was a deer running along the road until he looked over and saw a bipedal figure running in motion. The figure was slightly ahead of the car on the passenger side, running in the opposite direction. And it made an immediate turn, like, into the woods as he passed it. And he estimated he was about 15 feet away from the being and had long flowing hair. And his wife was in the car too, and she was the one who noticed like the hair and like it was waving behind it as it was running. He couldn't make out any facial features or feet or skin color, but he was kind of bulky, but more athletic, but kind of big built for like a 7-foot tall, like 7 or 8 feet tall thing. I've got 2 labels here and now I'm confused.
'Twas big.
Oh, I just copied and pasted because I'm silly. Okay, sorry. So he was particularly struck by how fast and graceful the figure was, especially since it was moving through patches of like thicker bush alongside the road, and it was like full bore booking it down the side of the road, but through like thick bushes, that takes some leg strength. He went back to the area, and he noticed that there was about 20 to 30 sets of tracks, mostly in clear-cut area with clay soil, and they were varying sizes. And on some of them he could see like distinguished toes and things. Which, that's like what has toes, not like pads, but toes.
Bigfoots.
Because it was 2006, his cell phone didn't have a camera.
It's big toes.
So you couldn't get a photo or anything. It rained shortly after that, so it washed all the tracks away. But
of course,
when he went back, there was no unusual sounds or smells noted in the area. But he went back to investigate and saw lots of footprints.
You know what sucks about this that actually makes me think is that in a situation like this, we're like, well, where's your pictures? Where's your proof? But then I think about all of the modern sightings and proof that we have, and we're like, well, you faked that. So it's like, it's definitely double-edged sword when you come to things like that.
Right. So if you want to play this video.
Do you want to talk about it first?
Yeah. So this video, it went viral at the time about 8 years ago. And Finding Bigfoot, the TV show, went and interviewed the guy and spoke to him about his experience. But it's probably best to just watch the video because it's really just really simple. He's driving along the river and then sees something and he had one job. Clean up on Isle Bree. That looks hella fun.
What was that?
What was that?
Oh.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's
it.
Yeah,
That's
did you see it though? Can we full screen it maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah,
click on it, go to the YouTube.
It's a really good video.
You
It's
can
one of my
right click on the video and click full screen. Oh, no, you can't.
This is what we
No,
do to
you
impress our
kinda
sisters
do it.
down the south.
It's okay. We try to, for everybody, we try to not put YouTube videos on the bottom because the bar is there
there we
where
go.
you can't push
Got
it.
it.
The guy's gonna get trench foot.
I love it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Walking across in the horizon there. It's very pixelated, but
My God.
What
was that?
What was
seems like
that?
it does seem like a very genuine reaction.
Reaction for sure.
It isn't.
Mhm.
It's definitely too grainy and far off to be a hoax.
Right.
So, if it wasn't something explainable that we know about in the
The guy's reaction is pretty
fossil record,
legit too.
And I think the fact that it sparked an entire TV fucking crew to go out there and to do as much investigating as they could on it. They held a city council meeting about it where they had people come and telling their stories. And it was like the thing we talked about earlier, the oral tradition of passing down. It's not that these people ever reported any of these wood booger incidents, but it was just like they told it to their friends and family, and it's been passed down over time.
Right.
So everybody got together and they finally were able to talk about these different experiences they had of seeing this creature inside of the woods, because just because it's not being officially reported in a sense doesn't mean that it's not being seen.
Right.
Yeah, dare I indulge me and let me bring this up one more time. We talk about whether it be Bigfoot or whatever kind of thing. We're only hearing the tip of the iceberg of people with the balls to actually come forward and talk about it, or crazy people that are making things up. But I mean, this is just the people this is a pretty solid video.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty decent.
This video is the clear intent of this video is to showcase the off-road prowess of that ATV, and it's a really cool place. I mean, like, it's a river with a waterfalls.
Makes sense that a
and
Bigfoot
stuff
would be there because it's thirsty.
Yeah, but it's remote. It's very remote. That's not something that you see in the middle of the city.
Oh, I have a note
pretty
about
genuine video.
That last story about the road with all the roadkill. It makes sense that a Bigfoot would be near there because that's loads of free food. If there's loads of roadkill.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a big ass deer. That's that's a good solid meal for a Bigfoot.
Enzo makes a good point here about this video, though, and it's a very casual walk across the stream, because I think even if it was a bear, it would be kind of, lumbering across. Well, there's that too, but it seems very effortless the way it walks across a stream of water. At the very least, it's done it before. Maybe there's a little set of rocks that it knows the path or something, even if it is a human. But I don't, That thing knows how to get across that stream.
How to get across it, and it looks, and it's a moving stream. It's not like it's a still kind of thing of water that somebody was really walking over. So it's something you would have to look down and pay attention to, and that doesn't necessarily look like that's whatever is walking across is like looking down and paying attention where it's walking.
That but you're also not
wearing.
Yeah, for sure.
You're also not wearing dark colors like that, walking through the woods. Like, you're not dressed up for the goth convention.
No, going through the woods like that.
Be.
With a white hat made, like, the head is clearly lighter than the rest of the body, but you're not gonna...
I heard skinny puppies playing in this clearing in the woods out here.
And look at it. There's a lot of compression issues with this video, but
I tend to find that it's just it's so unclear, and you guys know that there's something back there, that it gets more credence than it deserves.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think context is more suggesting of not a hoax here, more so than the actual footage of a creature walking across the stream. I think even the
there's a frame there where his leg splashes up water as he walks through it.
Whom?
The Bigfoot or whatever. Like just before he goes out of frame, you see his leg actually moving through the water.
Where? I don't know what you're saying, love. His what?
You see his leg move, splash the water, just that.
Are you for real?
No, not really. I don't see it. Only because I'm kind of blind though.
But you have a tiny screen, so.
I do.
And this is, this is also, I want to say the original footage isn't much better than this, but the pixelation definitely.
Oh, this is the original.
This is the original video.
This is the guy who
uploaded
it on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, so like this isn't a copy of a copy or a lower res version of it or anything?
Actually, this guy. Yeah.
This guy.
YouTube version of it. I think it's an interesting and compelling piece of evidence. I understand why those people went out there and looked into it 1,000%. That's a good video.
That white, you see that? You just paused it on the frame.
Nothing. But that is the same way that I feel about scary movies. It's scarier when you give them less visual.
Yeah.
Then your imagination fills in the gaps.
Yeah.
If you give them
That's why they don't show Jaws until the end of the second act.
Yeah, and if you look at this, like this could literally be anything in a dark suit walking in the forest.
It could for sure, but I think you're right, Bree. It's the lack of definition that's making
the
it
lack of definition that gives it Like what the hell?
But those are some good ass actors. If this is fake.
If it's fake.
Yeah.
With all fakes.
Like, I feel like they definitely think they saw something weird, whether it's a Bigfoot or not. That's beside the point, but.
Really? Because I'm like, why are you wearing all white with what you're doing?
Why wouldn't you?
Why not? I mean, he's just vibing out there. Yeah, it's not like he's...
I think
that's just what he wore
He's wearing like a really cool Affliction t-shirt.
Yeah, he wasn't going hunting or something. Yeah. He was just riding his pony in the woods.
Ed Hardy. This is the era of Ed Hardy.
For him.
And then it looks like the face of this creature has a white face.
You say it's not defined enough, but you can tell it has a white face.
Yeah,
it's definitely lighter.
It's a lighter.
So if I keep dropping out, everyone, like my computer decided to update its wireless drivers.
I'm gonna need to take this into forensic photos. Tony, you're doing good.
I just realized he's doing the meme right there.
Hey, you guys, you see that?
Yeah.
Who does
All right,
that?
let's see.
Would you really
see the
jump
next
out?
in.
Would you actually jump out? Yes, ho.
Press escape.
I'm doing.
I don't know. I just want to point out that those things are super fun.
They are. They're super fun.
They're so fun.
I might have ruined.
Think of the funnest thing you've ever done, and then multiply that by quite a bit.
And yesterday, I shot probably about $400 worth of ammo.
I drove a Polaris a few weekends ago. That's like
I
an old
love a
Vans ATV.
Polaris, not Polaris, a Polaris.
I'm going to tell you right now what that creature is, and you're not going to like the answer.
It's a baboon.
No, it isn't.
All right,
Better
Kari,
be
give
a
it to
fucking
us.
Raccoon.
There's not a lot with this one. It was just this was sent into a local news media in Pulaski County as being caught on a trail cam, and there was no other context other than we caught this on a trail cam. We don't know what it is.
Just that
Sorry,
picture?
I feel like you missed a whole chunk of things you were supposed to talk about.
How did I miss a whole chunk of things I'm supposed to talk about?
If that happens, we should definitely bring it up on the air.
My bad.
I know what that is. I
What
can
is it,
tell
Tony?
you exactly. That's a fucking black bear.
But it's got an opposable arm in the front.
No,
Why
it
How
is that-
the fuck?
doesn't.
That is not a black bear.
Yes, it
As an
is.
elbow.
It is. That is a dying black bear. It either just came out of hibernation. Look at it. It's got no tail.
It's emancipated.
It's got dog legs in the back. It's got
Emasculated.
it's
What's the
stupid
word I'm
little
looking for?
emasculated,
Yeah.
emancipated.
I said emancipated.
The
Yeah, same
Emasculation
thing.
Proclamation.
Yeah.
So this is a malnourished black bear that is clearly unable to support itself. It's probably a really old black bear.
Why has it got an elbow?
Wait, hold on.
Every animal
I think
has
that is
elbows.
a wood booger
Tony,
if I've ever seen
If you're
one.
joking with us, I need you to tell us now because I don't think we're catching up.
I'm not joking. That's a fucking bear.
Wow.
He seems very adamant.
Mhm.
All right, Kari.
No, then he's gone. He left. That man's gone now.
No, I removed him.
Let's go back. Let's go back and talk about how that's definitely a
Tony, you're
Bigfoot.
fucking kidding with us right now, right?
No, that's a bear. Bree. I'm not joking.
Bree,
That's a fucking
Bree,
bear.
I'm on Team Bree right now, but I also understand Tony.
Exactly
might
what
be
I'm
right.
saying through
I'm
science.
gonna say, Tony, you can fuck right back off to Kansas if you're gonna do that.
Well, I'm not going to do that because I'm not allowed to go back there. So fuck that place.
Well, the state doesn't
Oh, right.
kick you out, but
This took a weird
also
turn. So that was a
Also-
black bear or a Bigfoot. I'm on Team Bigfoot, but I also respect Tony.
you're telling me that this is
Why would Bigfoot be walking on all fours, smelling
Have
the
you ever
ground?
been on an episode of Bobby's Cryptid Corner? We know that Bigfoot's
He
good
was
on
looking
all
for a little
fours
snacky snack
sometimes.
down there. If
Honestly,
anything, it
have
looks
you
more
ever
like
got
an ape to me
an
than a bear.
orangutan,
Yeah.
a gorilla.
Yeah.
a
Don't act like you don't get on all fours
chimpanzee.
pretty often, Tony.
Ayo.
I'll take all of that.
Only when
over
she's
this
pretty.
is a black bear.
Only when I'm
Hey,
in
Tony, look at the size of the limbs compared to the torso size.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking bear.
That's an issue.
No.
Yeah, it is. It looks like a
Strange,
fucking bear.
Strange Recon Radio seems to be familiar with a bear ass and concurs with Tony.
Someone is losing their game warden license.
No,
Tonight.
Jamie can
No,
now
I think he just
longer-
earned it. He just got
Tonight.
promoted in his game warden license.
And
No.
Jamie cannot say anything against that because Jamie thinks Hot Jeff is hot.
I do think Hot Jeff is hot.
Facts.
I think
That's a
that
bear.
fucking
It's probably
black bear
just
that's
a
really a
wet
Bigfoot's
bear.
pretty hot.
It's a
Hey,
wet bear.
can I just say, just because Jeff
It's a
is
wet
hot
bear.
doesn't mean he isn't stupid.
Yeah, I think that's like my thing. I like them stupid and hot.
Just
That's
saying,
why all
it's
of
a
you are
fact.
here.
Sad.
I like him pretty but dumb.
That's why you give us your little tests at the little ACT test. At the
Exactly.
beginning of
Is
the-
that why he compensates with the
Just
mustache?
saying.
Yeah.
Just saying, Jeff. Just
All right,
saying.
Kari, give us the next sighting.
I don't know, goddamn
But,
black
not a
bear.
bear.
Give us
No
the
more
next
bears until
slide.
Tony's
I don't know what that
birthday.
is, but it's definitely not a black bear.
That's oh my god. If you really thought that this picture is a black bear, I pray for you tonight. I pray
Bree is
for
like
you tonight.
Bree is just as adamant about it not being a black bear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
I believe the chick who
never
fucking
seen
lives in
goddamn black
California has never seen a bear in her life.
Oh, now we're getting geographically
Oh.
intolerant.
California-ist.
Excuse me, sir.
Hey,
Excuse me, Munchkin.
I go camping. I go Bigfoot hunting.
And you almost got eaten by a bear, and you would have said, "Bigfoot ate me."
Why have you skipped ahead?
I saw a couple Bigfoots at the zoo. They were in the bear exhibit.
Hey. All right, Kari, give it to us.
Okay.
Give us this photo. I like it.
Jamie, September.
This sighting,
next Bigfoot sighting.
Let's go. I'm in.
Hunt if you can come down.
Absolutely. Always for Bigfoot.
This sighting is endorsed by Les Odell, who you're going to learn about shortly.
Okay.
Yes. So, on a series of consecutive nights, a game hunter was noticing that his food that he'd put out to attract game had been disappearing more quickly than usual, and he couldn't explain it. So he put up like lights and stuff and camped in the area, and 2 nights in a row he witnessed a black figure moving through his camp, and it would send massive shadows across all the trees, and all the food would be gone in the morning. So he returned for a 3rd evening this time with his wife, and they're like waiting till it gets dark. It's about 4 o'clock, and this picture is from this event. They're sat in their tent and they see the black figure moving through the trees at the edge of the camp. And he was able to snap this photo, and there's a handy red ring there. So
little Bigfoot peek behind the tree, little classic peekaboo. What you doing? That butt looks good.
For context, the map on the right is Les Odell's map, and every red pin is a Sasquatch sighting in the area. I think that's South Carolina, but he's got his map goes like all up Appalachia, so it's very, very interesting.
Love that.
Now, Bree, what do you think about this photo?
Yeah, what's your vibes? Bear?
Yeah.
I can. It's easy to be a trick of the eye.
All I see is another tree back there. To be
It looks a bit like a trick of the eye.
Yeah, like it could be a tree stump.
But I'm.
It was moving though.
I
mean, why didn't it do a video?
Okay, now I see the Bigfoot.
Yeah,
it's definitely a Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
But again, that's also like our mind making up. I think if we're
hell yeah,
do you see the
a wood door,
I see it.
Yeah,
this is a bit of a wood door.
Jeff said do a Polish accent.
I kind of do. I think that this is a bit of
a.
It reminds me of the Green Man in the old folklore. Right?
Yeah, I feel like unfortunately this is giving me like it could be a profile of a tree and we're just not seeing the
yeah, that is. I'm going to say I believe in the wood booger. I'm going ahead and fact it right now, but I do not think that is
it's the Green Man
in that picture.
Yeah, no,
a bit of a green man.
Yeah, it could be a pine tree, could just be a fern, could just be.
Could be a black bear.
Is it just me, or is he only this big?
A raccoon.
That Bigfoot is
away.
literally the same color as the trees. So I'm
Am I
like,
looking at the right man? Is this the right person? I feel like
yeah.
You guys can see my mouth. I feel like it's
what's it called? Pareidolia?
Here.
Pareidolia, yes, where you start to see
Yes.
faces and things.
Yeah.
Am I right? It's just here to here. But if you guys drop this in the next, like, if we do a Green Man episode of like the folklore of the Green Man, and like pagan history and all of history, I think that he fits the bill.
That thing in that photo does?
I can, yes. You see that forehead?
I don't want to do a Green Man episode if we're going to talk about this photo any longer.
Okay. No, shut the fuck up.
Right,
we just had an argument where an actual black bear was a fucking Bigfoot. And you fucking said,
can we go back to that Bigfoot from the trail? There it is. There he is.
Yeah, look at that fucking bear.
A juvenile Sasquatch.
Clearly a Bigfoot.
It's a baboon. Look at its red little butt.
Oh yeah, it's a baboon.
That's me in the morning.
Hey,
that's actually a good point,
like
Jamie, because that thing does not have the sweet succulent ass of a Bigfoot. Usually they're very inviting, if you know
it's
what I mean.
not it does because it doesn't walk upright normally.
I have a question. I have a question.
Be a malnourished homeless person.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
I believe in
100%
time
privilege.
travel. Okay, I believe in time travel.
We know.
So,
We know you
yeah.
do.
is this a photo in the future of a black bear after the apocalypse?
Yeah, that's
Anyone bewildered?
that's more
plausible
believable
than
than it being a black bear.
bear now.
It's
yeah.
clearly
I'm trying
wet.
to make it work.
Look at its
I'm
fur.
trying to make
It's
it work.
wet.
Okay,
That
so
is
no.
not a
Okay.
modern,
Oh,
non-time
yeah,
traveling
okay.
black
It's
bear in this
not.
photo.
Okay.
Just
It's a
Okay.
time
FYI.
traveling
Then
black
now
bear.
we have to
Yeah.
move on.
I hate you all so fucking much.
Can we get
move
a
on to the
t-shirt of
next-
time traveling black bears, please? Can we
For
get that
sure.
Can we
going?
get a picture of Tony being
Maybe
pissed
an
off?
overlay of time traveling black
Tony
bear.
with a bunch of bears.
I'm giving glasses.
Tony's big. Tony's really into bears.
We need to
It
get.
really is.
We should have a T-shirt with
No,
him as the
no.
We
game.
need to Photoshop him into that Giorgio Tsoukalos meme where it's like, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. It's like, I'm not saying it's black bears.
Don't you
But
It'll
it's
just be
black
like
bears.
it just say, "I'm saying it's bears. It's
Just, I'm
bears."
saying-
That's all it would.
I hate you so fucking much.
Kari, am I up to
Dude.
date on the slides?
You can't
Yep, you're
build
right.
have everything.
I love
So
you,
this-
Bobby. I just really hate Brie.
Oh, stop! I'm on Team Bree. Go fuck yourself, Tony.
Team
That is
three.
not a
We
bear.
love you so much. We have a
Fuck
love.
you, Tony.
So deep.
We do.
All right, Kari,
I'm just
take
kidding.
it.
So
Everyone.
this is a bit of a longer story.
Okay.
So I want to preface this story with this guy had been hunting in this area for
Bears.
35 years.
Not bears.
So on the morning of the encounter, he took his normal route, driving westward along Jefferson National Forest Road.
Mm.
He parked his vehicle and began walking to where an old logging road branches off, and the main road dead ends further west, where there's no further access after that to any kind of roads or anything. He walked about 1.5 miles westward on what he calls an old skidder trail, which is like an old logging trail that put the skidders down with the logs down these trails. It was quite early in the morning. It's about 50 degrees, and there was a 3/4 size moon in the sky, and it was like bright enough that he could see in clearings and stuff with the moon, but in the dark he had to use a torch. So some distance, in the distance, silhouetted by the moon, he sees this black figure. So he keeps moving. He shines his flashlight down the path while carrying on walking towards it. And normally, like if it was a hunter, like another game hunter or something, they would have like made their presence known. Especially with someone with a torch, like they'd be able to see them at least. What's so funny, Tony?
Why are you focusing? Will you just tell your story?
Yeah, just keep.
So he says a bear makes a hell of a lot of noise leaving, and once he got about 20 yards away, it just like silently disappeared into the forest. So he put a cap on his muzzleloader, preparing to fire for safety, like up into the air to scare anything off. And he was like really baffled and confused. That made his hair stand up. He carried on walking, and after passing the place where the creature stood up and left, he sounded from inside the bushes. He sounded like he heard someone clearing their throat for about 6 to 8 seconds, which I can relate when I wake up in the morning. He didn't see any detail of the creature, but you could tell like how tall it was, and it was kind of shaggy looking. And he says of the environment, he was on the north-facing slope of what was it called? Glade Mountain.
Oh, wow.
On the northern slope of Glade Mountain, and there's 2 small streams within 10 minutes of that location. So it seems like quite a common area to have a Sasquatch, like a high elevation wooded area with a water source nearby. It seems to be, it's those kinds of places aren't very habitable to humans because they need like houses and development to live. But
Yeah.
a Bigfoot up on high elevation with a decent food and water source. Sounds like a good location. So, there was also no odor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get into what Bobby was talking about earlier, the statue. So the city of Norton became a sanctuary for the wood booger, and they put up this statue there, and it's located in Flag Rock Overlook. And since 2014, there is an annual wood bogger festival where the visitors go around and they take you on like hikes to go try to find the wood booger. It's in like the national park area. Next slide, B. So we also have the greatest thing in the world that we happen to have all over with this cryptid stuff is that the local area has really turned it into the Hello Kitty of the area. So this is the Wood Booger Grill. I just want to say that they do celebrate Tuesdays where they have a kids special. It's only 99 cents. So we do like that. Bobby's
That's Sunday.
Do they do?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, having just this is how prominent the Wood Booger Grill is. If you just Google Wood Burger when you're trying to research the Wood Burger, this grill seems to be far more popular than the actual cryptid.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone goes there and they love the food and it's fucking great.
I kind of want to go there.
And
search engine optimization lessons with me.
This isn't the only place in the area that's really like taking on the wood booger stuff. Like every fucking little shop has some wood booger memorabilia for sale inside of it, or like every place in this area has like a big wooden Bigfoot statue or cutout in front of it area. It's become quite like the
why not?
maybe like the mascot of the area.
Well, it only happened after that Bigfoot episode as well.
Exactly, that's when it
the coal industry was being shut down, and they needed to prop up the funds for the town, so they started turning to the local folklore for tourism, and that's how now it's
and that's what we got.
Everything's an incentive based.
So give us the next slide, Bree. So I believe
this man right here has an
I believe we've actually talked about this museum before, which is the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum. Oh, you're still zoomed in. Oh, wait.
Why are we looking at his butt?
Looking at butts. Kate.
So those are clearly Levi jeans. You can tell by the way.
So I think we've talked about the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum before because we've talked about Bigfoot before. But so this is in Sutton, West Virginia, which is not far from Norton. And the building consists of no more than a handful of rooms, but it houses the largest Bigfoot collection in the world. And what's really interesting about this is the museum is run by two people, Laurel and her son David. And at the time, it was just kind of like a gift shop, and it didn't have anything to do with Bigfoot or like a consignment shop. Like people, the town would go in there and put their things up for sale. And what happened is some guy brought in that giant Bigfoot statue that you see on the right there as a way to kind of like promote his carving work. And because it sat prominently in the store, people started to come in and either ask questions about Bigfoot or tell their stories about Bigfoot. And it got to the point where people around the area just started bringing all of their memorabilia and casts and things like that. So the store kind of accidentally became a museum. And the people
I love that.
Didn't even believe in Bigfoot. They neither of them have had a Bigfoot encounter, but all of the people coming to them and telling the stories have made them believers in Bigfoot. They're like, we listen to so many people come through the doors and tell us their genuine experiences that there's no way that we couldn't believe what these people were saying.
That's beautiful. Did someone just break wind a second ago?
It sounded like.
It sounded like it.
No, I love that. I love that story. I love how that
was Bree made that noise.
The magic of consumerism makes people believe in Bigfoot because it's good for business.
It is. So Les Odell started looking for somewhere to display his really big collection of Bigfoot feet, and he ended up landing on this location. And so that's why we have one of the most extensive casting of the area is in this West Virginia Bigfoot Museum, which you would think would be like, the Pacific Northwest or something. No, it's Virginia.
Tell me, how far is that from you right now?
How far is Virginia?
No, how far is this museum?
Yeah, how far is the Bigfoot Museum?
It's in West Virginia? Okay.
So is that Les Odell?
I've probably fucking been around there. Where and what city is it in?
It can't be very long. It's crazy. Like
I
think of like California where I live, right?
Hold on. West, no.
We take
You
the
can't use that
entire
at scale.
West Coast, besides a little bit, and then I think about the East Coast where they break all that shit up with like you got like a mile, you're in another state, another mile or two, you're in another state. It's like so crazy.
Yeah, it was based on colonies.
So fuck the colonies.
And then the West was more territories.
Yeah. It's a bit different.
I won't blackmail you.
Make Mexico great again.
It's holy shit, that's 7 hours away.
Stop dumping their shit into the water.
It's 6.5 hours away.
Did you know that America donated like $1 billion to Mexico to help them not dump their sewage into the coast water?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
did you know that
happen.
America
donated money laundering?
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
And they were like,
The
what the
cartel
fuck? We need some more money. And they were like,
oh no, we spent it all on
$1 million
tequila.
or $5 million we gave you. And they were like,
Oopsies.
I don't know. Did you know America donated $110 million to Ukraine to fight a country we don't fucking care about?
But the difference is, Tony, that what Mexico does to their waters will affect us directly.
They already are.
Ukraine is not on our border.
I'm
Mexico
aware. That's why we spend
World War III
money with them.
We can't. They can't fish out of their own water, which is
This is a Thursday conversation, Bree.
Yeah, I was gonna say
They
this is for uninformed.
we can't
Please,
fish in our own state either.
my nose is about.
Yeah,
to
that's
start
Japan's
bleeding.
fault.
All right, give us the next one so Tony can go on his rampage.
Wait, I have a question about the museum.
Yeah, oh yeah, go for it, Car.
So that Les O'Dell guy, is he involved in the museum?
No, he just has his stuff housed there.
Okay. So those are his casts, right?
A majority of them are his casts, yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh, cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does he have casts of other things?
I don't know on that one. I believe he's primarily a Bigfoot person, but I'm sure that he might have casts of other things if he has come across it.
Do you think he makes casts of his own?
What do you mean?
Bree.
I'm just wondering.
What do you mean cat? Like he is making them? Like what do you mean? Like he uses his own foot? You mean?
Something like that.
Got you. Probably he might. Who knows? He does have a lot of casts.
I mean, he's called Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, Tony. Tell it to us straight.
If
you
there's
say
a
it's a
fire in
bear,
the
I'm
car,
gone.
So, scientifically, and this is where y'all want me to be the fucking dickhead.
Can I just say one thing real quick? I just went to the bathroom, and I'm so glad I kept my headphones in because Bree was like, "Do you think that guy makes casts of his own?"
What
the fuck is happening right now? All right, go ahead. Like, what are we talking about?
So scientifically, yes. Again, here I have to say the only recognized, and I will say recognized species in existence that could fit this description.
Oh God,
is the black bear.
shut the fuck up, Tony.
Tony, can we just like record you doing your segment and just when you're unavailable
every week, just replay it over and over again?
We can make like 5 different ones so people don't notice.
You cannot handle those anymore.
And you need to wear a different hat in each video.
Okay, look. So you guys want me to give you a fucking a natural scientific explanation. There's only so
you don't have to.
You
look, Tony. What
am I gonna say? It's a largemouth bass that fucking jumped out of the water.
No, Tony. Your job as the game warden is to give a natural explanation, but you don't have to necessarily adamantly agree with it every single time.
I'm gonna vote this
You
slide.
can stay objective here, or even say you know,
not doing
it's
this slide
probably a
anymore.
black bear, but that cool trail cam photo from a few slides ago might be a
was
Bigfoot.
Definitely a black bear. But can we just look? I have
Fuck these people.
look. There's only one animal in the Appalachia that walks on its hind legs, that has the same coloring, that is the same size. So if you want me to be,
I know what it is. It's Jeb Bush.
Look,
no, Jeb
there's
Bush
one
lives in
animal.
Florida.
If you don't acknowledge the existence of the woodburger, then there's at least two animals.
But you can. But you can, Tony. What you can.
Just believe in something.
Okay, so
Tony,
here's so what I did, and I looked this up today because I really wanted it to not be
a black bear.
Yes, because I have spent multiple days looking up the animals of the Appalachia, because we have had this subject multiple times. So there are very few animals that meet the over 6 foot tall figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elk. If you confuse something with 6 foot long horn antlers that is 6 foot tall, that weighs 1,300 pounds with something that is walking on its hind legs, all right, you've already lost. You're smoking meth. You've already lost your.
Well, that is a possibility.
Grip on reality. It's a giant deer. So it's not a bobcat. It's not a lynx. It's not a cougar. It is not a.
We need you to say,
badger.
Listen, the
So
black
what could
bear
it
is
be,
the only
Tony?
thing and it doesn't fit. Therefore, it's not the black
Could
bear.
be a black bear, or it could be a wood booger.
You missed the assignment.
That's why I have Bigfoot there going, brah.
Yeah, all right. Good save. I don't buy
So
it.
you asked me to do earthly explanations. I'm not here to give you the explanations that cannot be given. I'm here to give you the earthly explanations.
I think we're sponsored by bears to promote their agenda.
Tony, I
you work
love
for the
you,
Bear Industrial
but
Complex.
I hate your words.
You guys
Tony,
fucking shoehorned me into this.
Why do you have to ruin every fun cryptid out there?
Yeah,
with your black bear
Tony.
nonsense?
What the fuck? I used
Cute
to have
story.
dreams.
So
I
okay.
used to have dreams.
So here you go. Here you go. I have an alternate explanation for this besides the bear, but it doesn't work very well because the only alternate explanation, with it not being a bear, being mainstream science, which is what you want me to explain, is that it is a.
All right. You can put words in our mouth. It's fine.
That this is some type of
projection.
Not a projection. This is some type of thing that has been born off of Gigantopithecus, which is what is probably responsible for the Yeti in Asia. That migrated into America and moved in very limited numbers because you can't support an apex predator like that with giant numbers. So this might be part of that, but without any fossil evidence. All I can say is it's a black bear.
Tony, I was about to say you're going off on this tangent, and we asked you to do the earthly explanation.
I almost got excited.
Not the Gigantopithecus ones, but
the only earthly explanation is it's a emancipated black bear that probably has mange or it has rabies, and it's
I can't wait for Factor Sci-Fi with Tony.
Yeah, because that's the next slide.
Listen, we're gonna probably
you might as well get there.
We have to maneuver the slide with Tony.
I mean, that could have been his. That could have been his answer right there.
It's not.
To be honest. All right, let's just start with Tony. We already got Tony going here. He already gave us a little tangent there. What do you got?
It's a Bigfoot.
So what's your number?
I'm gonna 100% fact this. I think there is
Now, don't give it to peer pressure.
I'm not giving in to peer pressure. I think there is a secluded group of large hominids because the Native Americans, especially as far back as it was, they know the difference between a bear and elk, and there were mountain lions out here. There was every single form of predator that you could think of, so they know what they're coming up against.
Yeah.
If they come up against something like that, that is, they know what a bear looks like, and they're seeing this by multiple people. So they
are you talking about the natives right now, or are you talking about like the settlers?
The natives.
Both.
The natives.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to consider.
Well, the settlers meant the same thing, right? Because they learned from the natives. This is a bear.
Right. Right, but wouldn't you say that there's some ambiguity between like a flesh and blood creature in the woods, both amongst natives and whites, and that ambiguity between that idea and some sort of like spiritual creature that came from the lore of like a wild man or whatever?
No, because I think when you meld the two together, when you take the native lore and then take the settlers, the people who are just trying to live their lives, and they're shown what a bear looks like, they're shown what a cougar looks like, and then they see something that is absolutely not any of that, and they're threatened by it. That's where I say it's a 10.
It's a Woodburger. All right,
it's a Appalachian Bigfoot. Absolutely, 100%.
Nice. But just not that trail cam photo.
No, that's a fucking bear.
Tony, at least.
God damn it!
All right,
so you believe until there's proof?
Yes. Until there's proof that it's not real, just like Jesus.
Who's next?
Oh, Tony, that was the worst idea you've ever had. But I do like your non-beard. I think it looks really good on you. I think you look pretty fly right now.
Which
fly
one?
for a white guy.
The fact that I lost. Never mind.
Pretty fly for a white guy, but not your brain.
Tony,
your
you
brain.
look like you just got a makeover on the Ricky Lake show.
But your perception of Bigfoot is still really fucking stupid.
Oh yeah,
All right.
All right, Kari, what's yours?
Thanks, Brie. I love you too, hon.
I kind of agree with Tony. Like,
Tony, we love you, but
I said you're attractive, but that's not a fucking Bigfoot.
These sightings are
not a bear.
These sightings are just Sasquatch in all but name. So I'm just kind of operating under the assumption this is just Sasquatch, and I already believe in Sasquatch. So.
What do you mean you had a Sasquatch sighting? You don't believe in Sasquatch?
I just said I believe.
He does.
Yeah. Maybe take the dicks out of your ears.
Oh my God. Oh, stop. Everyone stop right now.
Tony, I could try, but I'm going to need some help. Could you help me?
Only with my teeth.
There we go.
Take over some of those dicks, Tony.
So you're saying
I don't turn up at the train station and slap the dicks out of your mouth while you're working.
Yeah, Jesus. I'm going to have to go 3 for 3 on this one and also give it a 10 because I believe these are all just Bigfoot sightings and I do undoubtedly believe in Bigfoot.
I like Biggin.
Biggin
should be a lifestyle.
I can't wait for Bree's answer.
I Biggin. I have to Biggin. I second.
What does that mean again?
Well, now that you've begun,
it's a 10.
Believe it.
It's a 10.
Look, okay. Fuck. You guys put me in a weird spot because I believe in balancing out skepticism versus
shame.
Facting these things. However, even if I went straight sci-fi, I would be outweighed at least into a high middle bitch.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna 10 fact the wood booger. I think it's an apple.
Oh,
yes, across the board.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
No, we did it on the last Bigfoot. So we keep 10-10ing Bigfoots.
We're all Bigfoot believers.
Yeah.
Even though y'all
here on Toddy Waba, we like.
Even though every time we do a Bigfoot episode, every time I fucking see this, I'm like, oh, they're gonna make me talk about fucking bears. They're gonna make me look like an asshole.
What are you talking about? It could be like a giant
what?
squid, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's a bear."
Never done that. Every time it's a fucking Bigfoot.
We're gonna do our rods
Tony's
episode
gonna talk about bears for fucking 5 minutes.
Be like, tiny little flying bear.
I think we're gonna get rid of that slide for Tony. It's no longer gonna be the game warden.
You've bad for the last time, so.
Yeah, you game warden. We'll give you.
This
we'll
is
give
the
you
last
something that's
game
not
warden.
bears.
We should change up the roles of some
bears.
Yeah,
you're no longer.
Let's have Kari be the game warden. So
some counters next time.
Yeah,
right,
Kari can be the game warden.
I'm just gonna say it's Baz.
Take it into.
No, you don't even live in a country with barely foxes.
Okay, can we play? You guys always spoil.
You always suck at this. Jaimie,
turn.
come on.
Done. Yeah, do it, Kari.
It's too late. Whatever. This is 2003's Wrong Turn. There are no Bigfoots in this movie. However, it is one of the last great hillbilly horror movies. I can't think of anything that's superior that's come after it.
The Hills Have Eyes.
The Hills Have Eyes remake?
Yeah, the remake.
was that?
No, the Wrong Turn.
That's not in the forest, though. That's out in the desert.
Yeah, all those are still hillbillies, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, hillbilly horror this is a very fun and stressful movie about Middle America, I guess. Directed by Rob Schmidt, who hasn't done much since this film, which I wish he would, because
you could say his career took a wrong turn.
I mean, that's what it is. And I can't really vouch for the sequels. I think I've maybe seen the second one. It was okay. And then I watched the remake or reboot from like last year, and I do not recommend that one. The original Wrong Turn from 2003, which is 20 years ago now, guys. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, the producer, Adam Green, the producer, he did like all these like really weird low budget horror films. Really cool guy. Got to talk. Adam Green, the producer of this movie. His studio did this movie.
Oh, okay.
So actually, really cool guy. If you look him up, a lot of his horror movies are exactly this. There's horror figures for the Wrong Turn guy with the axe, and
so he's mentally ill.
Yeah. Hillbilly horror is a niche genre, but there is quite a few of them, and
I don't like that shit. I hate hillbilly.
A lot of them are pretty.
When I saw The Hills Have Eyes in theaters, I love scary movies. I actually left in mid show, and I threw up in the bathroom. And then
that's based on a real family in Scotland.
I threw up.
You know, there's one movie that's done that to me.
It was the rape scene got me. I was like,
yeah.
I thought that was in the second one.
The scene with the hand in Sin City got me. He made me watch.
Yeah.
That fucked me up.
But I love her.
This is set in Virginia. That's why I chose it, by the way.
Oh, okay.
There was no actual like wood bugger movie.
There's a lot. I think they're either bad or I've already recommended them. There's literally like 3 good Bigfoot movies. I think I've talked about all of them.
Why don't we make a
there's
Bigfoot
not a lot
movie?
of good Bigfoot movies. That's the problem.
I'm writing a script right now about a Bigfoot horror movie. Who knows if it'll ever get done, but
that's fine.
Littlefoot?
Actually, yeah, it's about tiny, like juvenile. Oh, look at that.
Where'd you get that picture of David Wilcock?
No,
you can write a part in.
For real.
Bobby, you can write the part in of the podcast host who is just like,
wait, where'd I go?
I just think this is a bear. So everybody out there, and then I'll just have like a 3-second cameo.
I'll just have you doing like coast to coast AM style over the radio kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll explain it to you guys off air if you want to know. I just don't want to do it in front of the public quite yet.
Yeah, we don't like the public.
Don't need nobody stealing my ideas.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any final thoughts of the episode, ladies and gentlemen?
We have Jeff on Thursday because Brianna's
Jeff on Thursday because Bree will not be there.
I'm so offended by that, by the way.
I'm
that
happy
you're not there and that Jeff's there, and like, what are you offended by it about?
You guys should have skipped the episode and then brought it back to the next one.
But you
So
just
you're
want to
mad that
be
you're
on
not
with
going to be
Jeff.
there when Hot Jeff is there. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
I'm just not going to be there on the next episode either.
Well, it's just that we were trying to fill your seat, and we thought the best person to do it was Jeff.
Yeah.
This is after show conversation.
Oh yeah, sorry. All right.
Yellow
I
card.
have
Yellow card.
I have
Yellow
zero
card.
final thoughts. My brain is empty. Empty brain.
Any plugs?
Another thought. Speaking of card, has anyone watched the deep sea diver thing on Netflix?
No, I need
asked
to.
this
Oh, I
last
thought you were
time.
going to say about the Titanic. And I
You
was like,
asked us this literally the last episode about the.
No, I just watched it right now. I literally just watched it.
No, that was something different.
You asked us about
yeah.
like deep divers. Yeah, you're talking about like a big hole they were diving into.
It's
It's another
different.
one.
the big blue
It's a
hole.
different one, lass.
Oh,
You're watching Shark Week.
God. This has to be a thought for people that dive really deep in the sea, that go beyond the depths. It is a very strange thought to me that the human capacity really cannot make many meters deep into the water.
That's because we're squishy flesh things.
It's because we don't belong there, which means there could therefore be a whole nother civilization under.
A whole new world.
Under.
It's a whole new world.
Isn't that the
Not the Aladdin,
Atlanteans
though.
in
That's
Black
not Little
Panther
Mermaid.
2?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of water, I just released an episode on my podcast, Not For Everyone podcast, on 1995's A Water World, starring Kevin Costner. Bree, what was that for?
Awesome.
She's saying, "Get it."
Kari?
Get it.
Huh?
I thought
What?
you
None of the
threw me
motions.
off.
Kari. No, she's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, final thoughts.
Yeah.
Get it, boo.
Not really. Just keep on track. Actually, no, I got one thing. This is my one birthday card I got this year.
You're great. You're awesome, and
Aww.
Oh.
Here's a reminder to everyone that showed up in the chat or is watching
In
quietly.
case you forget.
sometimes you forget. You're great.
Awesome.
You're amazing, and you're awesome.
Yeah.
Tony, any final thoughts?
Yes, I have a couple things I want to
Nobody
say.
cares.
Okay, go for it.
Oh,
Floor is
no.
yours.
First of all, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Chris, who has his wife, and his family have welcomed me into their house and
Chris.
helped me set everything up.
Christian
And
Camp.
big shout out to everybody who has reached out to me over the last week or so, and taking it one day at a time. Not every day is easy, but I'm looking forward to the next episode, and I really enjoy this because it really helps me get away from the shit that makes me hate my life. So love you all.
Love you.
I still owe you a dick pic.
Yes, you do.
Oh, I want it on
Can
that.
I get on that thread?
Send in the group chat.
Can I get in that thread?
I gotta
Can
go.
I get in that
Play
thread?
your exit video.
Corey in
This
the
is a-
video.
Alright, I gotta take us all out, so bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Meet Catherine Brent of Devon, Cornwall, whose physical reaction to water is so strong that she is literally pulled this way and that in the direction of the underground stream she locates for Cornish farmers. Since she discovered her gift 3 years ago, Catherine has located 300 deep boreholes and has been right 98 times in every 100. Today, she is one of Britain's most successful professional water diviners. How does she do it? No one really knows, but scientists say that her body cells are unusually sensitive to physical and chemical changes in the earth.